Hey, what's up, everybody? We got some skull stuff today, so stick around. We're going to talk about positioning lines and how those lines need to line up with our image receptor, okay? So we're going to go over skull anatomy at another time, and we'll do another video on that too. But for right now, positioning lines seem to be really difficult for students. So learning these positioning lines are going to make positioning the skull so much easier. So most of our positioning lines go off of the EAM, which is the external acoustic meatus or external auditory meatus. It goes, so there's an imaginary line from here to the different points. So I have my skull here, I have my upright buccal. So we're going to look at a few things. So when we talk about the OML, the orbital meatal line, that's basically a line from the mid-orbit to the EAM. So if that was perpendicular, it's a little hard to tell with this, but right about there. So I'm going to try to, there's going to be a little line. So look at this little line right here. See how that's perpendicular? So that's the OML. The IOML is the infra-orbital meatal line, so which is the inferior part of the orbit. So on person, it's going to be this right down here, the little bony structure. So for that, we're not going to have as much flexion of the skull. We're going to have a little more extension. So we want from here to the inferior orbits. So that one's going to look about like that. Okay. We have the AML, the acanthomeatal line. The acanthion is right here. So right under the nose on that upper lip. So if we have that line perpendicular, it's going to look roughly like that. Another big one we use is the MML, the mentomeatal line. So from the mentum to the EAM. So a line from here to here. So obviously, we're going to have a lot of extension on the skull. And so from here to here, we want that perpendicular to the IR. Okay, does that make sense so far? All right, let's look at the lateral now. So the lateral, we worry about tilt more than anything. So tilt is this, remember, rotation is this way, tilt. So we do not want the patient's head tilted. So for a lateral projection of the skull, for anything, if it's skull, facial bones, nasal bones, sinuses, whatever it is, you want the interpupillary line to be perpendicular to your IR. So the line right between your eyes, so right between here. So you see, obviously there, it's tilted. That looks pretty straight to me. Again, it's a little difficult with the skull instead of an actual human, but that's how we would want for a lateral skull pretty much. So those are the positioning lines, the main ones that we use. Also remember, we have one projection called the SNV that we have to have the IOML parallel to the IR. So we already talked about it being perpendicular, right? But now if it's parallel, we have to have the patient looking up with this line right here parallel to the IR now. Okay? So learning the difference between how things look perpendicular, parallel, from the anterior, from the lateral view. We got to get those lines perpendicular, parallel, however they're supposed to be to the IR. So I hope this helps a little bit. I know skull is difficult for a lot of people. Hang in there. You got this. And thank y'all for watching. We'll see you next time.